it's still Monday 27th of June. If you'd have watched my previous one, which was the Amateur League, you'll know that I'm actually filming this while England are playing Iceland, and at the time of recording are 2-1 down to Iceland. This is Iceland that have a population apparently the same size as Coventry, which is a city in England. I'm just checking the score now because there's about 10 minutes to go and it's still 2-1 down. So by the time I've finished, it should be full time, unless we've equalised and it's gone to extra time. So I'll do a check just before I sign off, and you can join me in the reaction to our fabulous country. We did Amateur League, which was from Buffalo Trace, and this one as well is another person. This is W.L. Weller. This is the W.L. Weller 12-year-old, which was, as the Amateur League was, also donated by James Hope. So thank you very much, James, much appreciated. So this one is named after William Larue Weller, who was born in 1825 and died in 1899, and he is supposedly the first distiller in Kentucky to use wheat in the production of bourbon. So it would be 51% corn, and whereas the majority of distillers at the time were using rye to kind of make the rest of it, W.L. Weller, or Billy LaRue, or whatever you want to call him, was the one to use wheat. So it supposedly does create quite a different flavour, and Weller ended up making a distillery that ended up being part of the Stitzel-Weller distillery, that was sold in the 1970s, was responsible for the Van Winkle range, so Old Rip Van Winkle, Pappy Van Winkle, which is going for absolutely ridiculous amounts, and the Van Winkle 12-year-old. So at the moment, the brand of W.L. Weller is owned by Sazerac, and is made at Buffalo Trace, which is in Frankfort, Kentucky. I'm not going to put the map up because it was on the last one. Go and watch the last one. Sounded a bit rude there, didn't I? Please go and watch the last one. Please watch all of them, and please donate, because I'm trying to raise money for charity. I might have said that once or twice before. So yes, so this is what the bottle looks like, and you're looking. Now, I found this on the Total Wine and More website for $30. So it's a 12-year-old bourbon for $30, which is a pretty decent price. Apparently, this is also the same recipe as the Van Winkle 12-year-old, which I had a few weeks ago. In fact, I had it when I was on holiday because it was from my friend John Pitts. Now, this is the part of the Van Winkle range. The Pappy Van Winkle is the 18, 21 and 23-year-olds that are going for like four figures. The Old Rip is the one that's younger, and then there is the Van Winkle, which is the 12-year-old. But apparently this W.L. Weller is the same recipe. It's just that they don't mature. They don't leave the casks in the same warehouse. As apparently the Van Winkles are in a warehouse which is metal, so it actually retains even more heat, and it's more interaction with the wood because there's more heat and humidity. Whereas this is in a different warehouse, so it's not matured in the prime spots that the Van Winkles are. But the fact that this is the same recipe as the Van Winkle 12 from the same distillery, and yet this is $30, and I think the Van Winkle 12 was about $100. I think, could be wrong, but I know it's pretty damn expensive. It'd be very, very interesting to see what this was like, because the Van Winkle 12 was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. It was decent, and it'd be very, very interesting to see what this is like compared to it. Now, I don't have any of that Van Winkle 12 left. If I'd have known, which I didn't at the time, I would have saved a little bit and done a direct comparison between the two, but unfortunately I can't. Now, there's a classic bourbon spiciness of, it's quite a bit of nutmeg on there actually, like freshly ground nutmeg. But there is an unusual nose, and it's not a metallic nose, but it's quite grainy. It's like when you get a blended Scotch that's got quite a high percentage of grain. It's got that sort of edginess to it. But then there is a sweetness as well. There is a very much kind of like a sugar solution sweetness to it. So it's, you know, when you start making caramel, so you've got like the sugar and water solution, but it's before it starts to burn. So you've got the sugar solution that's bubbling in a pan, but it's clear still. and it smells like that. But then there's also a bit of like fresh garden mint in there as well. In fact, it's soft. It's all of a sudden just softened down, and it's become really fresh and minty and sweet. And that metallic edginess is gone. Now it's like a polo mint. It's really nice. Lovely, really nice, soft mouthfeel to start with. But then all of a sudden it goes really effervescent. And it really sparkles on your tongue and around your mouth. And it's 45%. So this is 45%, which is exactly the same as the Elmer Tea Lee that I've just had yesterday. But this kind of tingles. The mintiness is there still. Kind of what's on the nose is actually on the palate. So there is nutmeg. But it's really sparkling. It's like really kind of almost like it's been put through a soda stream and then I've just drunk it. It's really fresh as well. When I say it's mintiness, it's fresh garden mint from your garden, and pick a leaf and chew on that, and it's got that freshness. That's really unusual. Drying as well. It's got some bite to it. It's got more bite than I was expecting. But it starts off so soft on the mouthfeel. It hits your tongue and it's like syrup, and then all of a sudden it kind of explodes into this really kind of sparkling prickle of like mint and freshness and a bit of saltiness as well. I don't remember the Van Winkle 12 being like this. I haven't gone back and watched it. Probably should have done, to be perfectly honest. Might have coloured my impression of this, but I don't remember having this reaction to the Van Winkle 12. It was a couple of weeks ago, and to be honest, I can barely remember yesterday. So it could be exactly the same, but I honestly can't remember. It surprised me, to be perfectly honest. It's quite distinctive. It's not classically bourbon, but then this being a wheated bourbon, it's not made in a classical bourbon way. It does have some of those bourbon characteristics. It does have that dark fruit, but it's not quite as Christmas cakey. It's not as rich and as it's not as rich and as dark as sort of bourbons do. This is lighter. This is fresher. This has a little bit more bite to it. It just feels lighter. It feels. I sound a bit poncy. I'm trying to think of the words without sounding like I'm talking absolute nonsense. But this, especially having had the Elmer Tea Lee, which Elmer Tea Lee was stereotypical. I've only had two. Stereotypical bourbon all the way through. All the classic flavours, all the classic noses, everything you'd expect from a bourbon. This is like bourbon, but as a spring lamb, kind of bouncing around and being all light and kind of sparky and do. I'm a bourbon, but not really. Woo! It's really light and refreshing and jolly and really distinctive. $30 for that, for something slightly different. It's almost got a white wine character to it as well. That last little sip there, it's slightly drying like a white wine, like a dry white wine, like a Sauvignon Blanc or something like that. Not what I was expecting at all, particularly as I couldn't remember the Van Winkle 12, so I didn't even have that memory to compare to. Unusual. Good unusual. Not unusual and too weird for its own good. This is, pleasant. Would surprise a classic bourbon drinker. But if you're looking for almost like bourbon light, but that sounds detrimental because that kind of sounds as though I'm putting it in the same camp as like Bud Light. And it's not Bud Light. It's not a Bud Light version of bourbon. It's just a slightly off-kilter version of bourbon, but it's still got elements of what makes bourbon so good and what you'd look for in bourbon. Very distinctive, very unusual. For $30, that is really, really good price to get something very well made, very good quality, and something that's just a little bit different from the norm, just to kind of, keep you interested and everything like that. Good stuff. Right, let's see if this match is over. Let's see if we've managed to pull it out of the bag. And No, we haven't. Apparently we have just lost to Iceland. Well done, England. Very well done. Oh dear, fantastic. Well done, guys. Yes, very proud of England in the last 5 days. Fantastic stuff. That's going to improve the mood no end. I might need some more to drink. Right, that's that one done. Yes, I recommend Larue Weller if you like bourbon and you're looking for something slightly different, but you don't want to go too far out of your comfort zone. Give that a go. Well worth it. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.